I've been learning English for almost 40 years now, since finishing high school, which was my last formal education. I've learned a lot through different methods and from friends, of course. But have I only learned the language on this journey? No. There has certainly been much more to it than just gaining English speaking skills. Here's what English as my second language has really taught me. In the beginning, I wasn't that serious about learning English. Why? Well, I didn't think I'd ever be able to understand what people were saying in any foreign language, let alone freely express myself. In a good way, I guess I can say that there was no pressure since I had no particular goal. So I just kept learning mostly from what I loved, music and films. Then English speakers started telling me,
"Hey, your English is pretty good."
And I was like, really? I soon realized that my English had actually improved and I was able to hold small conversations. Oh, I was still making lots of silly mistakes and saying the wrong things. But I remember there was a sense of satisfaction each time I talked with someone in English. I had never felt that way in anything else I did or tried. I think it's fair to say that for the first time in my life, I felt I had achieved something. English certainly taught me that if you put your mind to something and keep at it, it's very possible to achieve it to a level you didn't even dream of. I mean, there's nothing you can't learn, right? There's nothing you'll get worse at by learning it. If you learn something today, you'll be that much better at it tomorrow. I've said this in one of my previous videos. English taught me confidence. I can say this again today because I still feel that way. It taught me the marvelous magic of communicating in a different language. However, when I say an achievement, I don't mean mastering something perfectly. I say this so often. You don't need to be perfect. And this is also something English taught me. I still make mistakes when speaking English. I make mistakes in lots of other things in life too. But at the end of the day, most small mistakes you make just don't matter. You can live with them or simply forget about them very quickly and carry on. Speaking English with tons of mistakes taught me that it's okay to be imperfect. I've become a living example of that theory to myself. My mistakes in English, thousands, maybe tens of thousands of them, have become absolute proof of that. So, in anything I do, I don't aim for perfection. I aim to get better at what I do because I know that's good enough. Good enough is one of my favorite English expressions. And I'd say confidence and imperfection are your best companions in learning English. The title of this next chapter is simple. English taught me Japanese. Yes, you heard that right. English taught me to revisit my mother tongue. Since I started speaking English, I've begun to look at Japanese differently than before. I've become much more interested in words, expressions, their origins, and their true meanings. I often find myself fact-checking Japanese words I used to use blindly, only to discover a depth I never knew existed. I've even learned to appreciate kanji, something I never thought I'd say. Back in school, I hated practicing them. But now, I see them as beautiful symbols. I appreciate the details and also how the stroke order makes logical sense for writing them efficiently and beautifully too. Then there is the fascinating gap between our languages. I find it so interesting that some words just don't exist in other languages. For instance, take the Japanese word ikigai. In the past 10 or 15 years, this word has become well known outside of Japan. I think it has become part of the global vocabulary, partly because there is no single English word that carries its exact meaning. It's usually translated into a phrase like a reason to live. In other words, it takes 3 English words to explain what we feel with just one word.
Hey, wait a minute. It's not 3 words, it's 4 words.
On the other hand, one of the English words I always struggle to match in Japanese is miss. As in, I miss you. We use it so often in English. It's not just for lovers in long-distance relationships saying, I miss you. I miss you too. It covers a much wider emotional spectrum. It expresses a void, a feeling that a person or a thing is not present and you wish they were. I miss my friends in Australia, for instance, or I miss eating hot dogs on the street in New York. Did I really just say that? Maybe that wasn't the best example. Just ignore me for a moment. But my best advice to really learn how to use miss is simply this. You have to feel it. Then you'll get it. It's not just a language though. Through English, I've learned so much about Japan, my native country, and our culture. Talking about your homeland with people from other parts of the world gives you a fresh pair of eyes. It makes you realize how little you actually know about the place you grew up in and the culture that helped shape the way you see the world. You learn to appreciate the depth of history and the wealth of tradition. It is definitely for this reason that I became interested in kimono and learned how to put on a yukata. I know it's a much easier version of a kimono, but hey, for me, it was still a big step. In fact, I should really get back to my lesson. Yeah, someday. At the same time, and quite naturally, English also helped me see the negative sides too. I've realized that our beautiful tradition of politeness can sometimes build a wall between people. With English speakers, I feel it's much easier to start a casual chat even when we are strangers to each other. By the way, when I say English speakers, I don't just mean native speakers. I mean anyone using English as a communication tool, regardless of their level or accent. I also don't feel the weight of age differences in English. I can talk to friends who are much younger or older than me on equal ground. In Japanese, that age gap sometimes creates a little barrier. Because of our keigo, honorific culture, our feelings sometimes don't get across as directly as they would in English. I have a friend I've known for years who is 10 years younger than me. To this day, she won't speak to me in tameguchi, casual speech, right? Even when I ask her to. I know she just means to be polite, and I love her for it. But I think it shows just how deep our culture of politeness goes. By the way, tameguchi is also a strange Japanese word when you think about it, isn't it? In the end, English didn't just teach me a new way to speak. It taught me to reflect on my own language and culture. Lastly, and to me most importantly, English taught me this. Hear me out. It doesn't take long to explain. English is a foreign language to us. It comes from different countries with different cultures. When you learn a new language, you learn everything that comes with it. Different manners, different social rules, and different traditions. You even learn different kinds of food, which is a lovely bonus. Just about everything feels different when you step into a foreign language. But is it really? In the past 40 years, I've experienced and learned all those differences. But for the final chapter of this video, I want to share this one other thing that English taught me. It taught me that we are not that different. After all, we are all human. We all laugh at something funny. We all feel bad when something goes wrong. We fall in love. We get our hearts broken. We learn how to get back on our feet again after failure. When I see a child holding onto their parents' hand so tightly, I think, yes, that's exactly how my kids used to be too. Or if I see a parent trying to reason with a crying child who wants something impossible, it reminds me of exactly how I used to be with my kids. Learning the differences is essential, and you do need to know them when learning a language. But precisely because there are so many differences on the surface, I am deeply fascinated by the fact that there are so many things we share without exchanging a single word. Like the simple fact that we were all once children. I'm Swing, your English mama and your friend. I teach English through music on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped you see a different side of learning English through my experiences. Now, I want to ask you, what has English taught you besides the language itself? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Have a lovely day, afternoon, or evening, and see you in my next video. Bye.